Hey folks, John Thompson, Spring Framework Guru here. So this video you're about to see on YouTube is a free preview of my course on Thymeleaf and the Spring Framework, how they work together. If you like what you see in this series, head over to my website at springframework.guru and you can learn more about the full course. Hey folks, John Thompson, Spring Framework Guru. So in this module, we're going to take a look at the Bootstrap Grid system, and we're just going to use it for layout. Bootstrap's actually got a really cool grid system. It divides up the page into rows, and then in each row you get 12 blocks inside that row, and you can actually nest these in and do some pretty cool stuff. But I want you to just introduce you to the grid system. This course isn't specifically on Bootstrap, but I want to give you some real quick getting starters. And grid system is something to get your head around because it is like one of the strengths of Bootstrap in terms of how you lay out the page. So let's go in and take a look at that, and I'll show you some of the basics of using the Bootstrap grid system for laying out a web page. Okay, the first thing that we want to do is Bootstrap's driven off of div tags, and through the div tags you apply Bootstrap classes to it. And the top tag that you want to be using with Bootstrap, we're going to do a div, is a container tag. And this is really the larger tags that you want inside your body element. And I'm just going to pull this up here. And let's toggle over and take a look, see if that container tag changes anything here. So we can see that right away the container tag did change our viewport. That's a terminology of Bootstrap, is a viewport. And it did give us that. So it did change that a little bit. And basically it's going to set up gutters on the outside of our page for us. So let's go in, and I'm going to do a tag around this. So we want to do a div, and we're going to call this a row. So if you saw me do a quick reformat, just a hint there, if you're on a Mac, you can hit Alt-Command-L, and that'll automatically reformat your code. So let's take a look, see what the row setting did. So that did adjust the spacing on this a little bit. And we actually want to put this in another div. And we want a column div. And I'm going to move that heading tag up into there. And this is saying, for this row, this div is going to span all 12 columns of that row. So let's see if this changes that. So that did change the alignment a little bit. And just from experience in working with Bootstrap, you do want to always try to nest row and column divs. It's kind of important to how the spacing in Bootstrap works. If you forget one or the other, things aren't going to be looking quite right in your Bootstrap layout. So this is an important thing that you want to do for your grid layout. So let's go in and take a couple more here. So let's do the same thing for our heading 2. We'll put him in his own div. And I got to close these div tags. Yeah, I got to reformat so I get that right. So let's take a look at this. So that's lining up pretty good. Now, let's show you how this will actually work. So I'm going to create a new row, and let's create a div class, and this time we'll do 6. We'll do 2 6s. I'm just going to copy this. So now you can see I have a row and I've got 2 divs in it, 2 column divs. So let's go take a look at this now in the browser. Refresh this. And now you can see how this is working. And let's copy all of this. And I'm going to add a style to this. So now I've added 2 different color styles. Let's take a look at that. So now you can start visualizing how the divs are actually working. And we can nest them too. So let's see here, we can actually do another div here. let's take a look at that. So you can see how we've stacked these up, and we're getting multiple divs and splitting them up. So let me talk back over here, and you can visualize this. I created another row within this div and then said, so now I took half the width, and in that half I said, here's another row, and I want half and half again. So that's what's happening here with these two, here and here. I changed background color on this. Let's do blue violet. See what that looks like. So you can see how this is setting up the grid system, and all these are blocks, so you can use this to really control your layout a lot on the page. Okay, this concludes the module on Bootstrap CSS. In this module, I just wanted to give you a good overview of the Bootstrap grid system. And so far in this, I mean, this is just a real high-level overview of what Bootstrap is. I've only covered like maybe this much of the entire Bootstrap project. The reason I like Bootstrap is it's a really nice CSS framework. It's very popular, so the documentation on it is great, but it's also very versatile, especially today in modern web application development. You're not doing just for Chrome on a MacBook Pro. You're going to be worried about iOS, tablets, Android. All these have different form factors and view sizes, and Bootstrap is a responsive CSS framework, so if somebody's on a tablet and they rotate the orientation, the page doesn't get all ganked up. It still looks good. It will look good whether it's on an iPhone or on a Windows machine, and hopefully they're not running Internet Explorer, but still, even under Internet Explorer, it should look pretty good. Like I said, this course isn't about Bootstrap CSS, but I am going to be using Bootstrap CSS in it for the layout portion of the pages that we're building, so I wanted to give you a little bit of a taste of it. I do highly recommend, if you're interested in Bootstrap, head over to Bootstrap's site. They have a lot of great demos and a lot of great documentation on the Bootstrap CSS framework, and you can get up to speed fairly quickly on using Bootstrap because it is so well documented, and it is very mature CSS framework. It's one of my favorite things to go to when I don't have a lot of time to actually invest in designing out a website. Bootstrap is a great place to start out.